Alright, so first off, I want to explain it's freezing cold out here. But my dad dropped by with his 2001 Crown Vic with a 4.6. And basically his harmonic dampener has give up the ghost. You can see the rubber around there is just starting to shred and come out. So we're going to replace that tonight. Literally beside the road, like the road's like 10 feet that way. And this is the puller he bought. It's like 17 bucks. It's from Advance.
On Carquist.
Oh, Carquist. Well, Advance will carry it too because it's their brand, performance tool. And the dampener itself was like $65. This was like $17, he said, and then I'm not sure how much the seal was.
It's $196.
So 96 bucks. We'll say $100 gets this, including a cup of coffee. 100 bucks fixes this. First things first is go ahead and get your puller set up, and that is to run your big piece of threaded through this little forked piece here, and then just pop that on. It just pops on, it sits right in the center. So now all we got to do is figure out which one of these bolts actually made up in there. So once you get your new dampener, you're going to have 3 bolt holes that you got to mate up these bolts to. There's different sizes, so it's up to you to figure out which 3 actually fits that to run through in this configuration from there into those 3 holes there, and this just sits in the center to give it something to push, so you pull that dampener straight off the snout. So after some finagling, because it tells you on the pack what the sizes are, but they're not sectioned out into, these are 12 millimeter, whatever. So for a 2001 4.6 Crown Vic, it is 12 millimeter for those 3 bolts. And the size for the end of your puller, what you're actually going to be cranking down and putting torque on it with, is 3/4 of an inch. Why it's separate, I don't know. Should have been all metric, but it is what it is. Now, it turns out that bolt in the end of the crank is actually 18 millimeter. We're trying to foul the engine up so it doesn't turn over with him undoing that bolt. But the problem we're having, besides space, is the fact that it's we can't get it fouled up so that the pulley can't turn. So we're going to go ahead and change this harmonic dampener on my dad's 2001 Crown Vic. And to start with, you're going to need to remove this bolt, which is 8 millimeter. And just go ahead and remove that and put it to the side for the time being. Total so far, we've got the 1 8 millimeter bolt there. We have one right here, and also one right there on the driver's side. So once those 3 bolts are out, go on and grab your 1/4 inch socket and undo this little hose right here for your reservoir. So at this point, this is still attached via 1 hose at the main bottom there. We're going to leave it intact because we don't have to remove it. But at this point, go ahead and undo your fan pigtail. It's over on the driver's side. Here, show that real quick. Yeah, right there's the pigtail you've got to remove to get the fan out of there. And then there's a wire on this side. Alright, there's actually a little piece here that goes into the fan shroud. You can see it right there. It just sticks down in there to kind of give support to that washer fluid reservoir. And so now that you've removed all the other things, you can go ahead and remove your fan shroud. So me and the old man's been talking here, and the guy that I was watching earlier maybe wasn't so stupid now. Oh. Okay, so round 2. We had some problems with the bolts that came with this. These are made of Chinesium or some garbage quote alloy. Where's the bolts at? basically, this is what happened. Earlier you saw it. As we put a little torque on it, it literally just went beep and bent those out of pieces. So again, we got some grade 8 bolts. They raped us with the price at $8 for four bolts.
$2 a piece.
And we only needed 3, but since they don't carry a bin like CarQuest and a lot of other places do, so we had to buy 4 because they come in packs of 2. And this is the longest ones they had, so we're really hoping this works. Alright, so we got the bolt off the end of the crank. Man, that's warm. Between the engine heat and just sheer friction. Now, looks like they had a little bit of RTV sealing on the end of it. But make sure when you pull this out that this washer comes out. Otherwise, a lot of times it gets stuck in there. And then you just sit and spin your wheels and break stuff trying to maneuver the old off of there. Now, you can see there, there's grade 8 bolts in there, and they started to give away because there's just not a lot of bite, and well, they're not shouldered out, and there's just one thing or another, but we finally got it. So after you get your bolt out, use your tensioner, tightening it up, pulls it down so you can get your serpentine belt off. So now the fun begins. We're right at halfway, and halfway is getting the old pulley off. So we're like 3/8 of the way. And that is right now lining up the bolts and getting everything in position.
You sure is a little bit shorter bolts than what them others is.
Yep. That is true. Those are probably a good inch and a quarter shorter than the mother bolts, so should be enough to get it off though. Again, make sure everything's straight. Put some PV Blaster. You don't want to try to just dry fit everything because it's just going to make life worse. And basically, you just cinch it down until you run out of thread, and then start cranking on that the big black centerpiece there. I don't know what you guys call it. We call it an anvil because it's pushing on the old. But yeah, once you get that all tightened up and ready to go, just start cranking on it, and you'll see that crank pulley just walk right off. Alright, so now after we ran around like chickens with our heads cut off and got a 3/4 wrench to fit, right now Dad is just pulling the balancer itself off.
I think there's the best motor that Ford built in a while. I'll tell you the reason why. It don't have no push rods, don't have no lifters. It's got 2 chains, one there and one there.
Yeah, I mean, 4.6s are good engines, Dad, but at the same time, they're junk in the fact that you crack one open and you're better off just go get another engine. Anytime now. Oh, it's making big progress now. Every time you move it, went from a 16th to 1/8 inch or so. Yep, you can pick it up and pull it off now, I'd say that.
Don't want to miss the seal up. Well, I don't know why.
Oh, there it is. And that, folks, is what it looks like when one falls off. Let's see the back side of it there. Oh yeah, and she was done for. Look there with the rubber missing all the way around just about. So once everything's removed, since we don't have a seal puller, Dad opted for the no-name special orange handled 8-inch pry bar. And basically just hook it in there, put a little pressure on that snout, and pop goes the weasel. It's completely out now, Dad. There you go. So there you go. Now's a good time to clean everything really good before you put it all back together. Actually, before you get this far, would have been a great idea to have a little ether or gasoline and brush or something like that to clean all this residual oil and stuff there at the bottom of it. But since it's now going on to 11 o'clock at night and we're tired and cold, that ain't happening. This one actually surprised me a fuzz, and that was my old man sprung for the national seal instead of the junky whatever.
Uh-oh.
Wrong seal. Alright, so we got stalled out with the front seal last night. They gave us the wrong one at the parts house, so we stopped, regrouped, and this morning we're starting again. Dad's using a piece of wood to install the new seal so that it doesn't get bent and tore up and leak oil and stuff. Alright, so I went and bought a seal installer kit using the 2.5 inch setup. I'm not using it. So I got a quick tip for all you guys doing this, and that is the car body is a 2001. We found out today through a hard process of elimination that the engine in this car is actually a 1999 series. Now, there is different variants of the 4.6 starting in 1992, and it goes from there up, and about every 3 years you see another stage. Point in case, this is the factory dampener that came off of it. I tossed it on the ground and picked it up for this video, that's why it's dirty. But you can see what this problem is. It's separated, came to rest over here, it's throwing the whole engine out of whack. So when we went and got the harmonic balancer for the 2001 car, this is what they gave us. Dorman 594-311. And whenever you look at it, it's pretty different. You look at it and you see that this is the front side, and yeah, that's quite a bit different. Technically it would work as that's off in free space, but after some process of elimination, it turns out that again the car is in 2001 with a 99 year model engine. So after we got that info down, we went and got the balancer for the 99. And what do you know? It's exactly the same. So now, it's just one of those things you might want to look into. A big thick lip on the outside means at the very least a 2001 and up. And then if it's got the little thin lip on the front, that is a 99 and down series. So now once we're ready to go with our new pulley for the dampener, you need to get some ultra black gasket maker oil resistant number 82180. It's oil resistant, so it's not going to let the oil eat away at the backside and cause you a massive oil leak, but you need to put it on the backside of your crank washer here. It goes in the end of the snout right there, and basically all it does is keep the oil from leaking out the front of your engine and running it dry and locking your engine up. Don't forget that as you go. So now we're going to go ahead and put this new pulley on. Alright, so right now we're just fitting the... Okay, so we got the new harmonic dampener kind of just sitting there. We're going to use the bolt in the end to pull it together. So basically that is just tightening down that bolt at the end of the snout to seat everything in. There's actually a torque value to that, the whole process for it, which I'm going to post here in just a second. But right now we're just trying to get the pulley pushed back to where it's supposed to go. We're going to install these back into the little arms so we can foul it up and put the correct torque value on it. "66 pound-feet to start with."
There's 40.
At this point, we're going to go ahead and remove the idler pulley. It's a 13mm bolt. One bolt comes out and then it slides off. So we just got the new Daco pulley on, and basically all you do is just tighten it up from there. I'll throw the torque rating up on the screen here for you, that way you've got that, because if you over tighten it, it'll burn the bearing up in the pulley. So we finally got everything bolted on, torqued down, ready to go. The only thing we got left now is put the new serpentine belt on. The old one was pretty agey, had a lot of cracks on the rib side, so we opted to just go ahead and just replace it all. So now alternator was replaced last summer. New crank pulley, new idler and tensioner pulleys, and a new belt. It should be smooth as glass. I know a lot of you are probably going to ask what routing and stuff the belt has. It's pretty easy once you've had one off. But right now, this is where we're at as far as belt routing goes. Alright, Dad's over here cranking away, getting this coolant reservoir put back together. Now, on the fan belt, the one that came off of it was a totally different one. Again, this is a 99 engine in a 2001 car. So the fan belt for 2001 will not fit a 99. This is the correct fan belt for the 99. Alright, so this is the initial startup after putting new harmonic dampener, new idler pulley, tensioner pulley, and a fan belt on.